Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Take your seat, please.
Thank you, sir.
Prateek, you are from Delhi, but you studied in IIT Kanpur,
Yes, sir.
aerospace engineering.
Yes, sir.
So, was it your dream to work in the space, aeroplane industries, or just you happen to go into that area?
Sir, I always had a keen interest in aerospace and the allied sector. So I used to read encyclopedias during my schooling years, and this sector always attracted me.
To this aerospace.
Yes, sir.
Now, I suppose the Air India, I suppose you have there are some 200, 300 odd aeroplanes they have given order
Yes, sir.
for purchase in one go, which is I suppose is the unique in the history of aerospace industry in the entire world. I suppose in India definitely in one go so much of so many aircrafts, not on lease basis but just outright purchase
Yes, sir.
from one or two companies, perhaps one company. Isn't it a little odd? Or I'm not talking from the financial angle, even from the technical angle. Suppose you are an aerospace engineer. So what are the things, what are the precautions you will take, and that is number one while purchasing. Secondly, after they are delivered, so what will be the things you will insist on in the contract itself will deliver, so that there will be technology transfer, and especially the spares. Spares are very costly, and so for spares should they have a separate factory or some kind of a
Right, sir.
this thing here in India, some facility manufacturing in India. So what are the things, what are the precautions you will take apart from the financial angle, technical angle?
Sir, from the technical angle, one of the most important aspects is the MRO, maintenance, repair, and overhaul of the aircraft. So it is important to have in-house capabilities for this, and from that angle, sir, the companies they should look at arriving at an agreement to transfer some technological capability so that domestically we can undertake these operations to allow smooth operation of these aircraft. That is one aspect. Sir, apart from this, sir, our country as a whole, we should be looking at establishing these aerospace manufacturing industries within our country so as to reduce the dependence on foreign operators and foreign companies.
No, that is of course in the future. But while purchasing that as a strategy, don't you think it is important to have a technology transfer? Because HAL already does
Yes,
plane
sir.
manufacturing, but we don't have the technology for such a wide body aircrafts. So don't you think that we should have a kind of a technology transfer clause or provision in the contract agreement?
So there are certain clauses in the contract which take care of the maintenance of the engines, and sir, there are also certain guarantees that the engine manufacturers as well as the aircraft manufacturers they have to undertake. So, for example, recently there was the case of Boeing 737 Max aircraft, so which were grounded due to some technical faults. So in that case, the company itself, sir, it underwent losses, but it had to compensate and repair the aircraft so as to generate airworthiness again.
Okay, let us come to your provident fund. Your father is still in the additional provident
Yes,
fund
sir.
commission. What are the acts govern the provident fund payments in government? I mean, from the employees. What are the acts?
So
And what are the latest provisions for the contribution? This is a contributory provident fund. What are the
Yes, sir.
recent amendments in that?
Sir, recently, sir, the change that has been brought is that people who have opted for higher contribution, sir, the deadline was extended. The Supreme Court asked the government to
What is
extend
the
the deadline.
original provision which has been extended?
So the original provision was that for salaries up to 15,000, uh, the contribution was for salaries up to 15,000. Sir, the new provision was that people who have opted to uh, contribute more amount, so that may be allowed, that should be allowed. And it was regarding this that the extension was announced, and then around 9,000 people have opted for this provision.
But right now there is even government also has a contributory scheme, provident fund. Even government also there is no fixed pension scheme,
Yes,
and this also is a contributory provident fund, public sector and a private sector. So what is the difference between these two, government pension scheme and the provident fund pension scheme, EPFO pension scheme?
Sir, in the government pension scheme, sir, the employee, they contribute a certain amount, that is around 10% towards their future pension. Sir, in the EPF, sir, the employee as well as the employer, they have to contribute a certain amount towards the future provident fund or the pension fund. And sir, this is around 12%.
Right now it is at 12%. And what is the amount of interest they get? I mean, amount of interest the provident fund EPFO gives them, declared every year. But
yes, sir.
What is the latest interest rate now?
Sir, it is around 8%, somewhere around 8, just above 8%.
But how are they managing? Because the market is very down, and I think 6.5, 7 is not available in the market. How are they going to giving 8% to such lakhs and lakhs of investors?
Sir, there is a board which decides where
Oh, that is I understand, but how are they giving 1% difference to lakhs and lakhs of investors?
Sir, from my understanding, sir, according to the earnings from these investment that the EPFO makes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, some questions from anthropology. Yes, so, genetic variation is studied in the anthropology. Yes. So, what are the methods? How do you ascertain the genetic variations, various tribes and various people?
Sir, there are morphological as well as certain genetical differences. Sir, the genetic difference can be studied at the micro level, sir, using various techniques like DNA fingerprinting. And sir, at the macro level, sir, we can look at these differences from the phenotypic angle, sir, wherein certain physical characteristics, they can point towards genetic differences.
Okay. And can you tell me how the human beings have adapted to the different environments and how they have evolved?
Sir, our bodies in this regard are, sir, very, I would say, advanced. So we can adapt to a varied set of environmental circumstances. For example, sir, in cold temperatures, sir, our nerves, blood vessels, sir, they can constrict and reduce or increase the amount of blood flow that is required to generate the requisite amount of heat. Sir, gradually also over the years, sir, humans have adapted to the regions. So, for example, in cold regions, sir, we develop stocky bodies and shorter limbs as compared to longer limbs and more slender bodies in hotter regions.
I see. Okay. So, what is the scope of anthropology? What all it includes, the various disciplines? It has the interdisciplinary approach kind of
yes,
thing.
Sir. Sir, in concise, if I say, sir, anthropology encompasses everything that a human being is involved in or can be involved in. Okay. Sir, cross-subject studies have expanded to almost all frontiers of human studies. That, for example, anthropology has uptaken science. Additionally, sociology, it's very coherent with anthropology, economics, history.
Okay. So, cultural anthropology is also one of the branches.
Yes, sir.
Can you briefly tell me what is culture and its ingredients?
Sir, culture is essentially whatever human beings have created. Sir, it includes art, our morals, customs, our beliefs. And sir, cultural ingredients, so these are both tangible and non-tangible human elements that we create. For example, our relations with others, our language, etc.
Okay. So, you must have studied material and non-material culture also?
Yes, sir.
So, if there is a lag between them, what is that phenomenon called? Material culture stays ahead of the non-material culture, usually.
Yes, sir.
Because of the technological advancements. What is that phenomenon called?
Sorry, sir, I cannot.
Cultural lag.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Prateek, let's have some interesting conversation. Let's begin with the Ukraine war.
Yes,
1 year over.
Yes, sir.
One day it has to end. Can you visualize a possible meeting point which can bring end to this war?
Sir, certainly there have to be certain, from both sides, there have to be certain concessions. Sir, Russia seeks assurances from the NATO as well as Ukraine that the NATO boundaries will not be expanded and there will not be any threat to Russian sovereignty. Sir, Ukraine wants its territories back, including Crimea. Sir, I envisage that there will be a meeting point wherein Russia will have to go back from the regions it has recently occupied, such as Kherson and in eastern Ukraine. Apart from this, sir, there will be certain assurances from the NATO bloc as well as Ukraine regarding the expansion.
What about the autonomous, the Russian populations in Donetsk?
Yes, sir.
They have had problems with the Ukrainian government. That problem has been going on since 2014.
Yes, sir.
So you think that part also will figure in somewhere?
Sir, I view it, sir, as mostly an internal matter of Ukraine, and there have to be certain constitutional or legal safeguards that have to be built in for these populations.
Okay. Now you are an aviation engineer, aerospace engineer.
Yes, sir.
You will be selected, and let's say you are posted to animal husbandry department.
Yes, sir.
How do you use your aerospace engineering in that department?
Sir, on one hand, sir, general knowledge can be used. For example, sir, in aerospace, we are taught to be more particular about procedures and to have safeguards built in at every step. So we have to be very particular about things. So that can help in the general development of the branch.
But these eye for details are the least required in animal husbandry department. Who cares? Animal is sick. He can't speak.
Sir, still animals have life and we have to be compassionate for them. Sir, a lot of research on animals, sir, previously we have seen that it has been borderline, sir, torturous to these animals. And sir, there needs to be safeguards for them also.
Right. I joined an organization that was known for its value, Army, right?
Yes, sir.
Great reputation.
Yes,
and when I went there, I was not surprised.
Yes,
now
sir.
you're joining a career of bureaucracy,
Yes, sir.
which unfortunately doesn't have a reputation that the perception is not really proud of, right? Now, in Odisha, it took 61 years after a dam was built to pay compensation to the villages who were dislocated. 61 years.
Yes, sir.
2 generations have died. In Gujarat, it took 50 years to pay. They relocated people in construction of dam, and now they're telling them that where are your papers? This land doesn't belong to you, and they're being asked to move out, right? OROP, you understand what OROP is?
Yes, sir.
Was supposed to have been dispersed in 2019. It's 2023. Subbarao, the governor of RBI, an ex-IAS officer, he said that has the IAS failed the country, it's not entirely politicians' fault. I've given you 4 examples.
Yes, sir.
You want to join the service?
Yes, sir.
Why? And you want to be part of this legacy?
Sir, so this is just one facet of what the organization, sir, has till now been. Sir, apart from this, sir, because the IAS and other civil services, sir, they are so engrossed in the public domain. Sir, there is enormous scrutiny on them, and additionally, sir, they come under intense pressure. Sir, that is why, sir, a lot of these shortcomings, so they are highlighted, and they have so basically an opportunity to be presented at the national level. Sir, I want to join because, sir, I believe that I am very sincere, and even if it is a small contribution, I can bring about a certain significant change in this regard.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Prateek. So you have done your aeronautical engineering from IIT Kanpur.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me why the industries in Kanpur have closed down mostly.
Ma'am, one of the reasons is that the capital infusion in industries, it is lagging somewhat. And additionally, a lot of the industries were revolving around leather and the allied sector and have significant pollution impacts. And that is one of the reasons. Additionally, these are the two reasons that I
But
can think.
textile also came up very well. Lot
Yes,
of
ma'am.
mills during the Britishers.
Yes, ma'am.
Elgin Mill, Victoria Mill, Muir Mill. All these mills were now they are closed down, almost closed down,
Yes, ma'am.
isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
What could be the reason?
One of the reasons that I can think of is that our raw material source at the time of partition, a significant portion of them went to Bangladesh. So there was a dearth of raw material initially, and then we have gradually moved on to newer materials. For example, new textiles and the likes. Yes, ma'am.
Don't you think unionism was also one of the major reasons for the downfall?
Now I'm not aware of that phenomenon.
Okay. Tell me 3 principles that you follow in your life.
Firstly, being truthful, and secondly, ma'am, discipline, and third, ma'am, compassion. I think these 3 principles are very crucial for human life and very important.
Do you think engineers become better administrators than a generalist? One is more able to solve the problems.
I can only say that we have different approaches, and this is beneficial for administrators to have diversity in the approach.
Okay. Do you think IITs, institutions like IITs have will be relegated to the background once foreign universities are opened up in India?
IITs are essentially the backbone of engineering education in India. They offer affordable education to the masses, and with the advent of new IITs, many more IITs have started coming up. It only is beneficial to the general population at large. And ma'am, regarding foreign universities, there is a perception that they will be financially inviable for a majority of the population because their costs are supposed to be very high. And that is one of the reasons, that is why IITs will always be relevant.
What do you think of startup boom in India, which has recently come up?
So, sorry, ma'am.
Startup boom.
Startup boom. Ma'am, in the previous 5-6 years, we have seen a lot of startups, but also there have been certain problems regarding their funding, and many of these startups are currently running under operational losses. There is the need to clean up their operations and to generate more profitability, as well as address the problem of funding for these startups, which is gradually drying up. And the base for these startups, it also has to be expanded to the wider social sector.
Okay. Tell me, last question. Some of the lessons that you have picked up in a reputed institute like IIT, can you tell me how will you apply them in your current in your assignment as IAS officer?
One is that there should be a lot potential for creativity and freedom. Administration as well as the people at large, they should be supported in their endeavors, and on that front, bureaucratic procedures, they have to be streamlined to a greater extent. The bureaucracy has to be more people friendly, as we have cross discipline friendships in our IITs, and that helps in a lot many endeavors. For example, ma'am, in our project of designing a car, we had people from all branches, and it synergized our efforts and helped us in efficiently developing things. And I think this can be inculcated in bureaucracy.
Thank you.
Prateek,
Yes,
how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You see, even after sanctions on Russia, the value of ruble did not fall. Why is that the case, Prateek?
Ma'am, Russia is still a significant trade power. It has a lot of trade relations with China and India as well. That is one of the reasons why ruble has not fallen.
Any other reason you can think of?
There was the I read about Russia having a lot of forex reserves, but
Yes.
I wasn't very sure.
Have you heard about PM Gati Shakti?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think it will be able to bring any significant change?
PM Gati Shakti envisages to bring about a cross-sectoral collaboration to enhance our transport and logistics sector primarily. And I think it can bring about a significant change because currently our logistical costs, they are above 14%. And to establish India as a manufacturing power that we aim, it is imperative that we bring this down to around 7 to 8%. And cross-sectoral collaboration can greatly help in this regard.
Prateek, you're from Haryana.
Yes, ma'am.
We have so many women champions from Haryana.
Yes, ma'am.
Despite that, Haryana discriminates against their own girls. Why do you think this discrimination is not going away?
Ma'am, there are vestiges of patriarchal attitudes still prevalent in Haryana. The social situation, it is still undergoing slow progress, so slow change. But gradually change is happening. And one of the reasons that I can point out is that we still lack a lot of, we still lack people who can inspire the population to generate
Okay.
more urgent change.
You're from Haryana and you live in Delhi.
Yes,
Delhi and Haryana are having water issues.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think is the resolution to that?
Ma'am, the water issue is not just limited to Delhi and Haryana in this regard. Ma'am, it also extends to Punjab as well.
That's true.
Yes, ma'am.
But what about Delhi and Haryana? Any resolution to these two?
Ma'am, there has to be, both the governments have to come together to find a solution. We have limited water availability, and going forward it will only become more challenging. And in this respect, we can look at newer technologies. We can look at the example of Israel and how they use water efficiently.
All right. Prateek, tell me about the worst day of your life, and that is my last question to you.
Ma'am, I don't view my days as having any worst or.
Okay, tell me about the biggest failure of your life.
The biggest failure, I would say, was last year when I did not clear the examination.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prateek. Please wait outside. We'll call you back for feedback.
Thank you. May I come in?
Come in, please. Come in. Interview is over. Relax, Prateek.
Yes.
Last time you appeared in this interview, how much did you get?
Sir, 151.
151. Achha. Probably that is why I missed it. I must have been missed it by whisker. I mean, very small.
Sir, 45 marks.
You missed by.
Yes.
So your written also was not so
Sir,
good.
my optional was.
Written was your optional was not perhaps.
Yes.
Okay. So what? See, written you don't know. Perhaps I will not. You have not got your marks. Obviously, they won't give. So we'll have to maximize your interview.
Yes, sir.
Hoping that this will take you through. I mean. And there is no reason why they should not take you through. This time you have covered your knowledge base is quite good. Quite good. Perhaps last year, of course, as you say, the biggest frustration is the last year you could make it. I mean, you are so hopeful, optimistic.
Yes.
So, but I suppose your subconscious mind, if you are carrying that baggage, just drop it. Last year was another day. This year is another day.
Yes.
So, this year is a high time for you to crack it. I mean, just do it. I mean. So, just main is first empty your mind. That baggage, please don't carry.
Right.
You are absolutely good student from IIT Kanpur, and you are from Delhi, and of course you are not only for that, you are a very pleasant personality. So there is no reason why. Only thing is that your body language is a little down. I mean, so your panel members have noticed it. We people keep on meeting young people like you. There is a little less enthusiasm, little less positivity. So just a little bit boost your confidence. You have to do it yourself. Nobody can do it from outside.
Yes, sir.
This is self. This thing. It is another day. I have done well. I am doing well. So auto suggestion kind of a thing. When is your interview?
Sir, I don't have the dates.
So that 1 month at least.
Yes,
so enough time. So what are you doing? Keep on doing it. You are Delhi based or gone back to? You must have come back to your NBCC, those East Kidwai or all that.
Yes.
Just have regular morning walk, evening walk, meditation. If you do it, football. Don't break your bones, of course.
Yes, sir.
A little cautious, but do all what the normal young boy like you does. Good nutrition and all that. And just don't put additional pressure on you. This interview, take it as another mock. Any mock you have done this time?
Yes, sir.
So what did they say? Any comment from them?
So this is the general comment that I received, that there is a certain degree of nervousness and stiffness in your body.
No, I would call it nervousness. You are not a nervous fellow. What you are having is you are carrying that baggage. Subconscious mind, you are carrying that baggage, I suppose. That frustration or a deep shock when your name didn't come out.
Yes.
So that shock actually is still working inside. It's very difficult to get, but then you have to do it consciously. You have to do it kind of join a class, yoga class, or all the breathing technique, etc. It's positivity. You have to be positive. You have no other way. You have to.
Yes.
You have to be positive. And because there is no reason why you shouldn't make it this year. Apart from, of course, one should not plan for a bad luck or something, or should plan for a good luck only. Why not? Why not this year for me?
Yes, sir.
Like that. So that's why do it. Otherwise, so anything you want to ask us, basically, to ask anything about you.
At certain times, I tend to go blank when answering the questions, and
exactly. So I was telling you, these are all nervousness. Nervousness, this is a deep anxiety. It's not, I won't call it nervousness, it's a deep anxiety because you are carrying that baggage. Don't carry that baggage. You have to take some help. You have to take that some help, take professional help.
Right, sir.
As you know, there is no harm. Nowadays, everybody goes to a professional.
Yes, sir.
Take that help. Because you are a good candidate and there is no reason you can't make it this year. You have every reason to make it this year. I mean, I can't say IAS and IPS and all that, but class 1 service of some importance. So that's why don't lose this opportunity by just brooding, because you also keep on brooding. I see sometimes there's a tendency to brood also, I suppose. Sometimes you do that. I can make up. Don't do that. Be engaged because you got more than a month. So go to library, talk to your friends and whatever, talk to them. Whatever the people do in Delhi, go to some parks. You're from Delhi, so you know them.
Yes.
Your friends, some friend group will be there, your IIT friend group.
Yes, sir.
So some friend group or something, whatever interests you. You are a single child.
No, sir.
You got siblings and all that. Talk to them, this thing, all that. Nice, this thing. So that's why you have to kind of, there's nothing scholastically you can tell you, academically. You have got all the bases covered. You have got the knowledge base. Keep on doing it, obviously. Don't relax on that, slacken on that. Paper, newspaper, many things we couldn't ask, didn't ask, no time. Sir. Economy, foreign relation, law and order, India's performance in the Olympics, various sports, etc., etc., all that sort of thing. What is happening around the world.
Yes, sir.
So So that's why that only thing you can say ki do it, you should come victorious. This time, should be your year. Why not? I mean, every reason to be your year. Only because that. So that is why.
Sir, aapka phone.
Thank you then. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to ask you, how many mocks have you taken?
Ma'am, 6, 7 around.
So haven't you practiced to manage your anxiety or nervousness?
Ma'am, I start well, I believe. Certain times I start well and then it tends to just dissipate and I just go in a cycle of overthinking.
See, I have a
while
tip for you. Anxiety happens to everyone or most of us. The only key is to manage it. So you will be able to manage it if, let's say, in a day when you're not taking mock, take 2 hours and practice answering questions without being anxious. So you have to learn to manage your anxiety. And that will happen, one, as sir told you, by letting the baggage off and by training your mind. And second, by practicing also. That let's say if you get anxious during your main interview, then what will you do? You can't just afford to go blank. So you can maybe take a break for 2 seconds. If you're religious, think of something that way. If you're affirmative, think of an affirmation in your head and then bounce back. So you have to learn to practice that. You can't leave it to fate.
Yes, ma'am. Certainly. Thank you.
You are one of the finest candidates that we have seen.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Just put a little energy on your face and voice. Rest all is great.
And smile this way that you're smiling now.
Right?
Yes, ma'am,
Yeah.
certainly.
You see, if you are just remain in that moment, the question is asked, remain focused on that with ease. Understand that question. You have answered the questions very well.
Thanks.
Think of that question only in that instant.
Yes.
Wait for the next instant. Let it come. Go with the flow.
Yes.
You will do it.
Don't get anxious of anticipating what next will come.
Yeah. It will be fine.
It's more about judgmental about being the past.
Judge
previous
yourself
question.
after the interview is done.
Take
Don't
your
judge
mind
yourself sitting
away
there.
from whatever has happened. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Your preparation
But you
is
got
quite
some
good.
spiritual leaders, everybody has some Baba or something. You have anybody? No, your family has
And
some.
you will have so much time to judge yourself once you're out of the interview
Have
hall.
faith in your own ability.
So if you have not, sometimes it does happen. I mean, go to Baba Ashirwad and it does happen. Anyway, if you don't have, go to some Masuri, some, enough time. Tell your father, I'll go to Masuri. The EPFO has beautiful guest house in Masuri and all that places.
Yes,
I know that I've stayed on those guest houses. Beautiful guest houses. Go 2-3 days, nice. Change of scene, change of thing, relax your mind, come back. So relax your mind. How to do it, you have to figure it out.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's this thing is different.
Yes, sir.
Everybody relaxes differently.
Yes.
But your preparation, don't slacken on that. Keep at
Right,
it,
sir.
keep at it. Okay, chalo, we should be getting the good news after the May need the final result comes.
Yes, sir.
We must know that Prateek Singh has made it.
Certainly, sir.
And you don't answer
And
2
I live
questions,
near your
nothing is
house.
lost. Nothing is lost if you don't answer 2 questions.
Yeah. Even more than that.
3 questions.
I live near your house. Once you qualify the exam, you're bringing sweets for me.
Certainly.
Great.
Thank
You'll
you.
do well.
All that way. Thank you. All the best. All the best. Very best.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.